at the moment we have a list of items inside of our app and we have an index. What if we wanted to display a header that tells us what section we are currently in? Well, that's mighty simple to do. Inside of your MyTableView source, let's have a public override, and we want the title for header. Then we can return our keys, and we can use the section that's passed in up here. We can also have a footer. So let's have override title for footer, and we can return section end. Now when we hit play, we should have a header and a footer for each section, which allows our user to quickly understand where they are in the list. So we have A, section end, B, and Z. So you'll notice these are sticky. If you look at the top, the A and B stick to the top. So iOS is very good at that, of letting you know exactly where you are in a scrolling list. Now this is a common one. How do you modify the header or the footer views? I'm going to show you. Let's have another overridden method. Override get view for header. Now this returns a UI view that your system can use for the header. So first of all, we have to create one. Var view equals a new UI view, and then we can initialize this with a frame. So let's have core graphics.cgrect, and we're going to have this starting at 0, 0, which is the top left corner. How wide do we want it? Let's have tableview.bounds.width, so it matches the width of the table view. And then we need a height. Let's set it to 44F. Close off our brackets. Now, just before we continue with this view, this height is important. iOS will ignore it for now. So we have to explicitly set it in another overridden method, which is getHeight for header. Then inside of there, we're going to return our 44F. So now it should all fit nicely. Our view needs something to display. Let's make a really simple label. Equal to new UI label. You should be used to this by now. And then let's give this a nice font. Equals to UI font.fromName. Let's make this Helvetica and a size of 22F. Now this needs a frame. It needs to know where it is. And if I'm not mistaken, this frame that we're about to create is going to look at the view that it's available in and position itself relative to that view. I'm not quite sure about that, so don't quote me on it, but I believe that's the way it is. So we have our cgrect. We want to bring this in a bit from the left, so 10. Bring it in from the top, 5. How wide do we want it? Let's have it the full width of the table view. And how tall do we want it? Let's try 25. Then let's set a funky text color of plain old red. And finally, we need some text. And this text is simply going to be keys section. And close off our label. The label is created. Now we need to add that label to the view. So view.add. and pass it over our label. And finally, we're going to return this view. Now let's hit play, and hopefully we should have, we have a slight error. Expression, let's see what it says, denotes a type. That's because I haven't actually created a new Core Graphics CG Rect. And now when we hit play, we should be good to go. So with any luck, we're going to have some nice headers with a bit of red text that shows the index. And there we have A at the top, B and Z. It's as easy as ABC. Sorry, bad joke. Right. That concludes how to change the header view, the header title, and indeed how to put headers in. It's much the same story for your footers. So you can also get a view for footer method, and that's exactly the same as get view for header.